Hi, I'm Austin Wahl, and I'm talking about the surrender at Appomattox courthouse. It was the afternoon of April 9th when General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant in the parlor of Wilmer McLean's house. It happened after the Battle of Appomattox courthouse. The battle was on April 9th when the Northern Army greatly outnumbered the Southern Army, so the Southern Army gave up at the Appomattox courthouse in Northern Virginia. The surrender was after a morning battle, when the Northern Army had 100,000 men and the Southern Army only had 28,000 men, and the Southern Army had to surrender because they had less men and they were weak. The official surrender was at Wilmer McLean's parlor in his house to discuss the surrender. The actual surrender was in April 9th when the two generals discussed a meeting when General Lee surrendered in the parlor of Wilmer McLean's house. During the meeting, there's a surrender that they signed to agree to the surrender. Later, there was an official ceremony where all the soldiers laid down their weapons when they passed. So after the surrender in the battle, General George Meade shouted, "It is all over," after he heard that the surrender was signed. And since the Northern Army had won, all of the other Southern armies started to surrender. So the South started laying down their weapons, and they started to notice that the Confederacy was getting weaker. They did that because they heard about General Lee's surrender, and Lee was the Confederacy's strongest leader. So this was a big impact to the Confederacy after they knew what happened to their armies, because their great leader, General Lee, surrendered to the Northern Army. This was also a big impact on General Lee, because he knew that he had to surrender because his army was getting weak and small. The end.